and hope was a scarce commodity. Mr. Speaker, these last 10 months have not been easy at all. However, with the help of the Almighty God and a united and competent team and the support of a people, we have indeed made some progress. Our government promised to stimulate economic activity, to create jobs, and to return our country to a path of sustained economic growth. What is the result so far, Mr. Speaker? This year, Grenada will record its best growth performance since 2007. And Mr. Speaker, Grenada is among the top performers in the ECC Union. Mr. Speaker, this performance is similar to the situation from 1995 to 2008, when Grenada was often seen as the fastest growing economy in the OECS. That's the facts, Mr. Speaker. That's not a one-man claim. Grenada's growth performance, Mr. Speaker, from 2001 to now can be seen in annex at the back of this document. Mr. Speaker, it appears that the NNP government has always brought growth, jobs and opportunities. This is a fact. Mr. Speaker, there has been much speculation about the levels of unemployment in Grenada in recent times. This is a major socio-economic issue that must be handled with data, with facts, not how I feel or how I estimate or all sorts of flawed theory. It's about data, facts, numbers. So, Speaker, therefore, I've heard it said that there were labor survey taken and unemployment or so and so. I have never heard about this. So whose numbers they are, let them keep it. But here are the facts. In September of this year, Mr. Speaker, a labor force survey was launched to get the real facts. We now have the preliminary results of this survey. And as I said before, unlike some assertions, no complete labor force survey was ever done in the past 10 years that I'm aware of. Based on International Labor Organization's ILO definition of unemployment, which is persons who are not working but want to work and are actively seeking work and available for work. And based on the reference at the end of September, the rate of unemployment in Grenada stands now at 33.5%. And among our youths, it is 55.6%. Mr. Speaker, this survey findings validate our assertion back in opposition that the rate of unemployment was at least 40% then. And let us examine, Mr. Speaker, this issue a little further. The current labor force in Grenada is just under 60,000. Over the past year, thousands of jobs have been created. Let us quickly look at a few well-known projects. Sanders La Source, approximately an average 1,500. Private home construction, over 500. Feeder roads, 150. Concrete roads, 200. NIS complex, 40. The new Imani, 2,000. Special projects, 300. Total, 4,690. Let it be understood, Mr. Speaker, that this number does not include the debushing and some other short-term employment which has been created. Mr. Speaker, even allowing for some layoffs in the private sector in the last 9 months, these numbers clearly show that at least 4,000 jobs were created since we arrived in office. And we can think about this. We can see what's happening in the streets. We can see the trucks of workers traveling all over the place in mornings and evenings. Since 4,000 persons out of the labor force of 60,000 have now found jobs, this means that the unemployment level has fallen. If you work a simple mathematics, it will be 6.7% this year. Furthermore, since the labor force survey has established that the rate of unemployment is 33.5%, if we add those two numbers, the survey also proves that the unemployment rate was then about 40.2% before we assumed office. I would want anyone to challenge this. Mr. Speaker, the evidence is clear and compelling. Employment has certainly risen. Unemployment, therefore, has fallen. Mr. Speaker, we have therefore begun to deliver on promise of jobs, jobs, jobs. Mr. Speaker, while we have made an assault on unemployment to some degree, we recognize that the unemployment rate of 33.5% is still unacceptably high and must be reduced significantly. This is one of the most powerful reasons why we are moving speedily to build a new economy. Mr. Speaker, under the new Imani program, as I just mentioned, over 2,000 young persons are receiving skills, vocational training, and work experience. In healthcare, over the past 10 months, we have paid more than $3.5 million to ensure access to basic medicines at our hospitals and clinics. Furthermore, on the initiative of the Ministry of Health, a donation desk was launched to properly channel donations and gifts to our healthcare sector. Already, considerable assistance has been received from Grenadians at home and abroad, as well as friendly countries and organizations. Furthermore, government invested more than $2 million to launch our community health initiative. As a result, more citizens can access a wider range of services for longer hours at our community health centers daily. Mr. Speaker, we are certainly delivering. Our government, Mr. Speaker, promised to lower the cost of selected construction materials from May 2013. We have done so. We are determined to further drive down the cost of construction and encourage more home ownership. We promised also to launch the Small Business Development Fund to help our people pursue their dreams and to unleash their entrepreneurial spirit and secure their livelihoods. Another promise made and another promise kept. We are delivering. The interest in this fund since its launch in September has been phenomenal, Mr. Speaker. And because of its interest and the need for access, we have decided that we'll establish a sub-office for the small business loan in the parish of St. Andrews, which will give easy access to people from the rural community to access these badly needed funds. Additionally, Mr. Speaker, our government signed an agreement with the CARICOM Development Fund to inject a further $8 million in business development through the Grenada Development Bank. Mr. Speaker, it must be noted that our government first had to pay its outstanding subscription of $2.5 million before Grenada can access the fund, something the previous administration failed to do for 3 long years. In 4.5 years, the previous administration also could not get the agricultural feeder roads project moving. We promised, Mr. Speaker, we would do so in our first 100 days. Mr. Speaker, we have delivered. And although there were so many hurdles to overcome, Mr. Speaker, we did. Government owed the Kuwaiti Fund and OPEC Fund close to $12 million. Under good management, I understand. Government owed CCC close to $15 million. Mr. Speaker, through quick and decisive action, our government negotiated repayment terms with the Kuwaiti Fund and made a payment so that the project could proceed. And more recently, a payment plan was submitted to the OPEC Fund, and a payment of $1.6 million was made. Government also paid down its arrears to CCC by $5 million. Although the project is not yet in full flight all over the country, 3 roads have already been completed, and work will accelerate next year. Mr. Speaker, when we arrived in office, Grenada owed just about every single body, locally, regionally, and internationally.